There are 293 ways to make change for a dollar. There are approximately 2 million different combinations of sandwiches that can be made from a Subway menu. 25% of your bones are in your feet. YouTube is the world's second largest search engine, second only to Google. Elephants cannot jump. The Atlantic Ocean has a greater salt content than the Pacific Ocean. It takes 17 muscles to smile, however, it takes 43 muscles to frown. The average raindrop falls at 7 miles per hour. Benjamin Franklin invented the rocking chair. Seatbelts became mandatory in US cars on March 1st, 1968. 40% of Americans have never been to a dentist. During their lifetime, the average human will grow nearly 600 miles of hair. Cotton candy was invented by a dentist and was originally called fairy floss. The national animal of Scotland is the unicorn. The heaviest baby who survived birth weighed 22 pounds and 8 ounces. There are 2 ATMs in Antarctica, and both are operated by Wells Fargo. Camel milk does not curdle. The technical name for the hashtag sign is the octothorpe. The name Wendy was made up for the book Peter Pan. Before this, there was never a recorded instance of the name Wendy. Children born in the month of May are on average 200 grams heavier at birth than children born in any other month. The Hawaiian alphabet has 12 letters. In the course of their lifetime, the average woman will consume over 6 pounds of lipstick. Unfortunately, 96 billion pounds of food is wasted every year in the United States. Hippopotamosesquipedaliophobia is the fear of long words. When a female horse and a male donkey mate, the offspring is called a mule, but when a male horse and a female donkey mate, the offspring is called a hinny. LL Cool J was the first rap star to perform at a presidential inaugural concert when he performed at Bill Clinton's gala in 1993. The first non-human to win an Oscar was Mickey Mouse. Because metal was scarce, during World War II, Oscars were made of wood. A jiffy is an actual unit of time. It is 1/100th of a second. The first toy product ever advertised on television was Mr. Potato Head in 1952. The famous video game character Mario was originally named Jumpman. The planet Venus spins counterclockwise. It is the only planet to do so. The current American flag was designed in 1958 by a high school student. You burn more calories when you sleep than you do watching TV. On average, a cup of coffee has 95 milligrams of caffeine. Humans have the same number of vertebrae in their necks as giraffes. 7. The fear of the number 13 is known as triskaidekaphobia. The 1912 Olympics were the last Olympics to give out medals made entirely out of gold. The original name of Google was Backrub. The first iPhone was released on June 29, 2007, over 13 years ago. YouTube was founded in 2005 by 3 former PayPal employees. The original name of the 1979 arcade game Pac-Man was Puckman. On average, cats sleep 16 hours a day, more than any other mammal. The vocabulary of the average person consists of approximately 5,000 words. Tablecloths were originally meant to be served as towels with which dinner guests could wipe their hands and faces after eating. The ZIP in zip code means Zoning Improvement Plan. The average child recognizes over 200 company logos by the time they enter first grade. Coca-Cola was originally green. In their lifetime, the average person will walk the equivalent of 5 times around the equator. A jellyfish is approximately 95% water. Leonardo da Vinci invented the scissors and the helicopter. 1 in 5,000 North Atlantic lobsters are born bright blue. In the United States, frisbees outsell footballs, baseballs, and basketballs combined. Polar bears are left-handed. A pregnant goldfish is called a twit. Never feed chocolate to dogs. It is very harmful for them. The longest word that can be made using the letters on only one row of the keyboard is the word typewriter. There are more plastic lawn flamingos in the US than real ones. The national anthem of Greece has 158 verses. The Greek alphabet has 24 letters. The word alphabet comes from the first 2 letters of the Greek alphabet, alpha and beta. Dolphins sleep with one eye open. A snail can sleep for 3 years. Formally, the Michelin Man is known as Mr. Bib. Typically, your right lung takes in more air than your left one does. In ancient Rome, it was considered a sign of leadership to be born with a crooked nose. Over half of all movies are rated R. A hard-boiled egg will spin, an uncooked or soft-boiled egg will not. Flamingos are naturally gray, not pink. The largest organ in the human body is the skin. Located on Mars, Olympus Mons is the largest volcano in the solar system. Babies are born without kneecaps. The dot in the letter I is called a tittle. The company Nintendo has its origins in producing playing cards over 100 years ago. On average, the human eye blinks over 4 million times a year. Koalas almost never drink water. They get fluids that they need from eucalyptus leaves that they eat. The smallest number with the letter A in its name is 1,000. The only king in a deck of playing cards without a mustache is the King of Hearts. Almonds are members of the peach family. When born, babies have 350 bones. However, the number of bones that a human has will drop to 206. Mercury is the only metal that is liquid at room temperature. Great white sharks have about 3,000 teeth. Starfish have no brains. An elephant's pregnancy can last 2 years. It is impossible to sneeze with your eyes open. The letter W is the only letter in the English alphabet that has 3 syllables. All other letters have 1 syllable. Tigers have striped skin, not just striped fur. Over 90% of currency is digital. It does not exist in physical form. A giraffe can go longer without water than a camel. A chicken loses its feathers when it becomes stressed. If you drive south from Detroit, Michigan, you will end up in Canada. Dogs can smell 1,000 times more accurately than humans. A shrimp's heart is in its head. 1 can of Coca-Cola contains 39 grams of carbohydrates. The average elephant weighs about 10,000 pounds. Over 1 million pounds of pasta are sold in American grocery stores every year. 80% of Americans made a purchase at Walmart in 2002. Seahorses cannot curl their tails backwards. A rabbit's teeth never stop growing. A male rabbit is called a buck, a female rabbit is called a doe, and a baby rabbit is called a kit. A cat's heart beats about twice as fast as a human heart. A total of 56 signatures appear on the American Declaration of Independence. Although there exists the phrase as American as apple pie, the first apple pie recipe was found in England. A medium potato contains about 160 calories. Jalapeno peppers measure between 2,500 and 8,000 on the Scoville scale. The word rainbow comes from the Latin arcus pluvius, meaning rainy arch. The letters J and Q are not found anywhere on the periodic table. California is the most populated state in the United States with over 39.5 million people. Pineapples can take over 2 years to grow. It takes 400 cocoa beans to make 1 pound of chocolate. Despite its name, there was not a single pony in the Pony Express, just horses. The Earth's circumference is 24,900 miles. Rubber bands last longer when they are refrigerated. Every year, the moon drifts half an inch further from the Earth. In 1987, American Airlines saved $40,000 a year by removing 1 olive per salad in first-class salads. Alaska is the state with the highest percentage of people who walk to work. Isaac Asimov is the only author to have a book in every Dewey Decimal category. There are approximately 450 different types of cheese in the entire world. Every year, kids in North America spend $500 million on chewing gum. A word or sentence that is spelled the same forwards and backwards is called a palindrome. Slugs have 4 noses. The first novel ever written on a typewriter was Tom Sawyer. 200 million M&Ms are sold every day in the United States. Karaoke means empty orchestra in Japanese. The plastic things on the end of shoelaces are called aglets. A crocodile cannot stick its tongue out. If you have 3 quarters, 4 dimes, and 4 pennies, you have $1.19. You also have the largest amount of money in coins without being able to make change for $1. There are over 318 billion possible combinations of the first 4 moves in chess. If you keep a goldfish in a dark room, it will eventually turn white. Mel Blanc, the voice of Bugs Bunny, was allergic to carrots. Charlie Chaplin once won 3rd prize in a Charlie Chaplin look-alike contest. 4,000 people are injured by teapots every year. Chickens cannot swallow while they are upside down. There are 86,400 seconds in a day. Flamingos can only eat with their heads upside down. Sound travels 5 times faster underwater than it does in air. Your foot is the same length as your forearm. 4 out of the 5 original designers of the Macintosh computer were left-handed. Butterflies taste with their feet. Fingernails grow nearly 4 times faster than toenails. 60 cows can produce a ton of milk in one day. William Shakespeare invented over 1,700 words. Jupiter is the 5th planet from the Sun. It is physically impossible for pigs to look straight up in the sky. In ancient Greece, doctors used spiderwebs to make bandages for their patients. Blood donors in Sweden receive a text when their blood is used. Technically speaking, Pringles are not potato chips, but rather they are classified as potato crisps. A group of unicorn is called a blessing. At least one of the colors of the Olympic flag appears on any given national flag. Iceland is the safest country in the world. $1 United States dollar is equivalent to 3,793 Malagasy Ariari. Kangaroos cannot walk backwards. The first YouTube video features one of the YouTube co-founders at the San Diego Zoo in front of elephants. It takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds for light to go from the sun to the earth. The tallest person to have ever lived is Robert Wadlow, who was 8 foot 11 inches tall. Pneumono-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis is a chronic inflammation of the lungs due to inhaling bits of silica. There is only one blockbuster left in the world. Netflix offers over 1,500 TV shows. 60 million adults in the United States have a Netflix subscription. Vatican City is the smallest country in the world. Additionally, there are less than 1,000 people that live there. There are 88 keys on a piano. SpongeBob SquarePants initially had the name SpongeBoy. However, a mop product had already trademarked the name, so they had to change both the name of the show and the character. There are 3 primary colors: red, yellow, and blue. Additionally, there are 3 secondary colors: green, purple, and orange. The apple is actually a member of the rose family. Approximately 10% of the world population is left-handed. France is the most popular country to visit. This is followed by Spain and then the United States. The Canary Islands are actually named after dogs, not birds. There are only 3 countries that don't use the metric system: Liberia, Myanmar, and the United States. 4 babies are born every second. Only 2 countries, Nicaragua and Dominica, use purple in their national flags. The current world population is approximately 7.8 billion people. Ronald Reagan's favorite Jelly Belly flavor was licorice. The M on M&M's stands for Mars and Murray, who invented the candies in 1941. If you throw silly putty from a roof, it will shatter into pieces. Henry Ford produced the Model T in black because black paint was the fastest to dry. Pi is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. It is an irrational number and has been calculated to over 2.2 billion digits. The cigarette lighter was invented before the match. There are more chickens in the world than people. The elephant is the only animal with 4 knees. American car horns beep in the tone of F. Bruce Lee was so fast that they had to slow down the film so that you could see his moves. You consume 1/10 of a calorie when you lick a stamp. President Kennedy could speak up to 350 words a minute. A cat has 32 muscles in each ear. New York City has 570 miles of shoreline. It takes 4 hours to hard-boil an ostrich egg. The letter Q is the only letter in the alphabet that does not appear in the name of any of the United States. A honeybee can fly at 15 miles an hour. Bananas are a good source of potassium. The average human will eat 8 spiders in their lifetime. It takes more calories to eat a piece of celery than the celery has. Therefore, when you eat celery, you actually lose calories. Elephants sleep for 2 hours a day. The soda 7-Up got its name because there were originally 7 ounces in the containers. The word up refers to the direction of the bubbles. There is no word in the English dictionary that rhymes with the word silver. 1 gallon of motor oil can ruin approximately 1 million gallons of fresh water. The Barbie doll's full name is Barbara Millicent Roberts, and she was born in Wisconsin. The only state that can be typed on 1 row of keys on a keyboard is Alaska. The only word that starts with the letters UND and ends with the letters UND is underground. The average lifespan of an American dollar is 18 months. The strawberry is the only agricultural product that bears its seeds on the outside. The sports drink Gatorade is named in honor of the Florida Gators. Airbags are deployed at 200 miles per hour. Alaska has the longest coastline in the United States. A flamingo's milk is red. The popular song Happy Birthday is copyrighted. Cows sleep standing up. Dogs sweat through their feet. Your stomach produces a new layer of mucus every 2 weeks. A queen bee lays 1,500 eggs per day. A group of whales is known as a pod. The original pack of Skittles doesn't contain the color blue, therefore you can't actually taste the rainbow. It takes 25 muscles to swallow. A group of lions is known as a pride. The penguin is the only bird that can swim but cannot fly. Kermit the Frog is left-handed. The headphones that you wear have more bacteria than a toilet seat. An ear of corn always has an even number of rows. 40% of McDonald's profits come from Happy Meals. San Francisco cable cars are the only mobile national monuments. Music can help plants grow faster. The average person eats 35,000 cookies in their lifetime. Over 1 million Earths could fit inside the sun. Every minute, hundreds of hours of footage are uploaded to YouTube. Amazon.com was formerly known as Cadabra.com. You share your birthday with over 20 million people in the world. Only female mosquitoes bite you, the males do not bite. The average person in Switzerland eats 20 pounds of chocolate per year. Approximately 40,000 Americans are injured by toilets every year. Google once used a camel to capture street views in the desert. A group of owls is called a parliament. Iceland does not have a railway system. Violin bows are commonly made from horsehair. On average, a person burns 114 calories per hour by standing and doing nothing. The average American child is given $3.70 per tooth that falls out. Llamas have been used as effective guards against coyote attacks on sheep. Daniel Craig was an anonymous stormtrooper in Star Wars The Force Awakens. The most popular color in the world is blue. Technically speaking, Antarctica is a desert. The average American shower uses 17 gallons of water, whereas the average bath uses 24 gallons of water. Abraham Lincoln was the tallest American president at 6 feet 4 inches. James Madison was the shortest president at 5 feet 4 inches. Maine is the only state that has one syllable in its name. A dime has 118 ridges around its edge. Typically, a person's left hand does 56% of the typing. The letter X was first used to represent a kiss in 1763. On average, a 4-year-old will ask 400 questions a day. Australia is the only continent that is also a country. 2,000 silkworm cocoons are needed to produce 1 pound of silk. The longest wedding veil was over 22,000 feet long. A baby puffin is known as a puffling. The interrobang is a combination of the question mark and the exclamation point. Doritos are flammable. Your body contains 100,000 miles of blood vessels. It is illegal to hunt camels in Arizona. Captain Crunch's full name is Captain Horatio Magellan Crunch. The most popular password in 2018 was 123456. The largest note ever issued for public circulation in the United States was a $10,000 bill, which featured a portrait of Salmon P. Chase, the Secretary of the Treasury from 1861 to 1864. The average person has 4 to 6 dreams a night. Slinkies are 82 feet long. Emus cannot walk backward. Famous painter Bob Ross was a master sergeant in the United States Air Force. Giant pandas eat 28 pounds of bamboo a day. A hippopotamus produces pink milk. More than 20% of calories consumed by humans worldwide is provided by rice alone. Although there are different colored Fruit Loops, they all have the same flavor. There are 255 pyramids in Sudan. Only 2% of the Earth's population have green eyes. A baby spider is known as a spiderling. It takes 2 weeks for a sloth to digest its food. The first webcam was invented to monitor a coffee pot. In 1993, researchers at Cambridge Computer Science Department got tired of walking up to an empty coffee machine, so they wired up a system that would stream images to the children's room that housed the coffee pot. A wild turkey can run 20 miles per hour. It is possible to lead a cow upstairs, but not downstairs. No word in the English language rhymes with the word month. A cat's jaw cannot move sideways. Hummingbirds are the only animals that can fly backwards. There are no clocks in Las Vegas gambling casinos. The male seahorse carries eggs until they hatch, not the female. If you try to microwave a grape, it will explode. A dragonfly has a lifespan of 24 hours. Pearls melt in vinegar. Your heart beats over 100,000 times every day. Nevada is the driest state in the United States. Every year, it averages 7.5 inches of rain. Vermont is the only state whose capital does not have a McDonald's. The most common letter in the English language is the letter E. Earth is the only planet not named after a god. Each of the 4 ghosts in Pac-Man have a name. They are Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Clyde. The average housefly lives for less than 3 weeks. The average person falls asleep in 7 minutes. The thermometer was invented in 1607 by Galileo. The first US patent was for manufacturing potassium carbonate. Over $200 million are spent on barbed wire every year in the United States. The speed record on the moon is 10.56 miles per hour. It was set in a lunar rover. 84% of an apple is water. Tokyo has the largest population in the entire world. A soccer ball has 32 panels. Cows sweat through their noses. Dr. Seuss wrote Green Eggs and Ham after his editor dared him to write a book using fewer than 50 different words. You breathe 13 pints of air every minute. The bones of a pigeon weigh less than its feathers. Rabbits have 3 eyelids. A cucumber is 96% water. Pound cake got its name from its recipe because there's 1 pound of butter, 1 pound of eggs, and 1 pound of sugar in the ingredients. Most wasabi you buy at the supermarket is not actually wasabi, but horseradish. Ketchup used to be used as a medicine. Back in the early 1800s, people thought tomatoes had medicinal qualities. Technically speaking, white chocolate is not actually chocolate because white chocolate does not have any of the components of regular chocolate. Contrary to its name, American cheese was actually invented in Switzerland. Cheese is the most stolen food in the world. Taco Bell was named after its founder, Glenn Bell. According to the 2019 World Happiness Report, Finland is the world's happiest country. Kellogg's All Bran is only 87% bran. Free weights at the gym have more than 300 times the bacteria than a toilet seat. On mobile alone, YouTube reaches more young people than any TV network. Studies have suggested that losses are, psychologically, twice as powerful as gains, so winning $100 feels as good to us as losing $50 feels bad. Sweden has a ski-through McDonald's. The record for the most Wimbledon titles is held by Professor Bernard Neal. He was croquet champion 38 times. Norway's coat of arms has a lion, however, there are no lions in Norway. The cuckoo in the world's largest cuckoo clock weighs 330 pounds. Slovenian-speaking babies learned the number 2 sooner than English-speaking babies. Before he was a famous musician, Johnny Cash was a military codebreaker in the United States Air Force. A bobsled got its name because early racers bobbed their heads back and forth because they believed it would gain speed. However, that did not work. A whole orange will float on water, but a peeled orange will sink. Iceland is so safe that parents routinely leave their babies alone to nap outside in their strollers while they run errands. Out of all the US presidents, 8 of them were left-handed. They are James Garfield, Herbert Hoover, Harry Truman, Gerald Ford, Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama. All major candidates in the United States 1992 election were left-handed. In addition to having different fingerprints, all people have different tongue prints as well. Honeybees have hair on their eyes to help keep their eyeballs clean. A cow needs to drink 4 gallons of water to make 1 gallon of milk. Porcupines float in water. A hippo's lips are about 2 feet wide. From Earth, you always see the same side of the moon. A sea turtle can weigh as much as a water buffalo. Bees are found on every continent except for Antarctica. Your nose and ears continue growing for your entire life. There is more Monopoly money printed every year than real money. The average yawn lasts 6 seconds. The top 10 countries for cheese consumption per capita in 2014 were France, Germany, Luxembourg, Iceland, Greece, Finland, Italy, Switzerland, Estonia, and the Netherlands. Mozzarella is the most popular cheese in the United States. 73% of adults in the United States say they use YouTube. 70% of views on YouTube come from mobile devices. The term o'clock is a contraction of the term of the clock. It comes from 15th century references to medieval mechanical clocks. Pine trees grow on all continents except for Antarctica. 25% of the world's population wears prescription glasses or corrective lenses. Nikola Tesla was born during a lightning storm. Ferrari manufactures a maximum of 14 cars per day. Tea is the second most consumed beverage on the planet, second only to water. The average human has over 100,000 hairs on their head. The average hummingbird weighs less than a nickel, and the smallest hummingbird, the bee hummingbird, weighs less than a penny. The average candy cane is 5 inches long and contains 50 calories. There are 8,760 hours in 1 year. The most common blood type is type O. The rarest blood type is AB. In ancient Egypt, silver was considered to be more valuable than gold. In the United States, 14.5% of men are 6 feet or taller. However, only 1% of women in the United States are 6 feet or taller. A medium-sized carrot contains 25 calories, 6 grams of carbohydrates, and 2 grams of fiber. Additionally, the carrot is an excellent source of vitamin A. There are more McDonald's in the United States than there are hospitals. The first city to ever reach a population of 1 million people was Rome, Italy. A crocodile can grow new teeth to replace its old ones. The curvature of the Earth is approximately 8 inches every mile. The vintage date on a bottle of wine indicates the year the grapes were picked, not the year of bottling. Jousting is the official state sport of Maryland. Baby elephants can drink over 80 liters of milk a day. The most abundant metal in the Earth's crust is aluminum. A healthy human eye can distinguish 17,000 colors. Sugar was first added to chewing gum in 1869. More water falls over Niagara Falls every year than any other falls on Earth. A mature oak tree sheds 700,000 leaves in the fall. While the fastest land animal is the cheetah, the fastest animal overall is the peregrine falcon, which can dive at up to 217 miles per hour. One 75-watt light bulb gives off more light than 3 25-watt light bulbs. Jimmy Carter was the first US president to be born in a hospital. The average human head weighs 8 pounds. Metallica was the first band to perform on all 7 continents. The microwave was accidentally invented after a researcher walked by a radar tube and a chocolate bar melted in his pocket. Many rabbits enjoy eating licorice. Oak trees do not produce acorns until they are at least 50 years old. Bell peppers with 4 bumps are female, those with 3 bumps are male. The average golf ball has 336 dimples. Bats always turn left when exiting a cave. Typically, a child will lose their first tooth at age 7. A violin contains over 70 pieces of wood. California accounts for nearly 75% of lettuce production in the United States. 1 in 2,000 babies are born with a tooth. The first heart transplant involving a human was conducted in 1964 at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. It takes a ton of olives to produce 50 gallons of olive oil. Fingernails grow nearly 4 times faster than toenails. On average, we lose 11 ounces when we sleep. A human can detect the smell of a skunk over a mile away. Sir Isaac Newton was only 23 years old when he discovered the law of universal gravitation. 96% of the United States population lives within 20 miles of a Walmart. Every year, 20% of Americans change their place of residence. McDonald's sells more than 75 burgers every second. Baby kangaroos are known as joeys. The hardest bone in the human body is the jawbone. The Black Hole was Disney's first PG-rated movie. On average, a person laughs 5 times every day. The most common street name in the United States is 2nd Street. A perfect score in bowling is 300. In order to obtain a perfect score in bowling, a person must throw 12 strikes in a row. The average person's skin weighs twice as much as their brain. Ecuador is home to the largest number of types of hummingbirds. There are more than 7,000 different types of apples in the entire world. A chameleon's tongue can be twice the length of its body. A blue whale can consume 500,000 calories in 1 mouthful. In 2016, Mozart sold more CDs than Beyoncé. The fortune cookie was invented in San Francisco. The human face is made up of 14 bones. President Theodore Roosevelt had a pet hyena. The colder your room, the easier it will be to fall asleep. There are over 7,000 languages spoken in the world today. Sliced bread was first manufactured by machine and sold in the 1920s. The White House in Washington, D.C. has 132 rooms, including 35 bathrooms. Pigs have 4 toes on each hoof, but they only walk on 2 toes per hoof. China is the largest producer of garlic, producing over 10 million tons in 2008. On average, G-rated family films earn more money than any other rated films. However, only 3% of Hollywood's output is G-rated. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was the first US president whose mother was eligible to vote for him. An adult green iguana measures 8 feet long and weighs about 20 pounds. The world's largest almond factory is located in Sacramento, California, and processes over 2 million pounds of almonds every day. Scorpions are nocturnal creatures, which means they sleep during the day and are awake at night. Compared to average shoppers, chefs are more likely to buy generic store brands for sugar, baking soda, and other kitchen staples. Actor Leonard Nimoy once gave a cab ride to John F. Kennedy. The future president allegedly told the aspiring actor, "Lots of competition in your business, just like in mine. Just remember, there's always room for one more good one." Due to human efforts, it is expected that the ozone layer will be fully repaired by 2070. The highest temperature ever recorded in Canada was 45 degrees Celsius. When PayPal started, they gave $20 to everyone who made an account and $20 for every person they referred. It cost approximately $60 to $70 million, but they had acquired 100,000 customers in the first month that PayPal went online. There is a difference between frosting and icing. Frosting is a buttery thick coating for a cake, while icing is a sugary thin glaze that hardens when dry. Dalmatians used to run alongside horse-drawn fire trucks, acting as a barking siren to clear crowds. This is the reason for their positive reputation with firefighters. A California woman once tried to sue the makers of Captain Crunch after she learned that Crunch berries were not real berries. She sued on the grounds of false advertising. However, the complaint was quickly dismissed when the judge reminded her that there is no such thing as a Crunch berry. Apple briefly had its own clothing and lifestyle line in 1986. However, it was a complete flop. With more than 200 million copies in circulation every year, the IKEA catalog is the most widely printed book in history. Originally, the Three Musketeers candy bar had 3 flavors: vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate. However, due to wartime rations, it was too difficult to access vanilla and strawberry flavoring. This is why nowadays, the only flavor in the Three Musketeers candy bar is chocolate. The largest snowflake on record, which was seen on January 28, 1887, was 15 inches wide. McDonald's once tried to sell bubblegum flavored broccoli to encourage kids to eat healthier. However, it failed. In Switzerland, it is illegal to own only one guinea pig. You must either own none at all or 2 or more. This is due to the fact that the guinea pigs are herd animals and get severely depressed when all alone. In fact, Switzerland officially considers only a single guinea pig an act of animal cruelty. In 2016, a man in Florida was charged with assault after throwing a live alligator through a drive-thru window. As the man was being handed his drink at a Wendy's drive-thru, he tossed a live 3.5-foot alligator at the attendant for absolutely no reason. As a result, he was charged with assault with a deadly weapon, possession of an alligator, and petty theft. Additionally, he was banned from all Wendy's fast food restaurants. While Starbucks is popular and prominent in the United States, it did not have as much success in Australia. After opening dozens of locations throughout the continent beginning in 2000, low demand led it to close 70% of its locations, leaving just 23 cafes throughout the country. Flamin' Hot Cheetos were invented by a janitor. A janitor working at the Frito-Lay plant in Southern California pitched the idea of adding chili powder to regular Cheetos to the company's CEO. The CEO liked the idea, and since its success, the janitor has risen up the ranks and now serves as an executive for PepsiCo. Flipping a shark upside down renders it immobile for 15 minutes. The pilot episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog was nominated for an Oscar. Astronauts discard their clothes after each use. Because it costs about $10,000 to get 1 pound of cargo to the International Space Station, it is more cost effective for them to discard their clothes when they get dirty instead of wasting water by washing them. Coffee loses caffeine as it is roasted, so a dark, bold cup of coffee actually has less caffeine than a lighter roast. In August 2013, Google went down for 5 minutes and as a result took 40% of all internet traffic with it. On July 23, 1983, Air Canada's Flight 143, with 69 people on board, ran out of fuel at an altitude of 41,000 feet. The pilot managed to glide the plane down safely as he was a very experienced glider pilot. The mistake discovered later on was that 22,300 pounds of jet fuel had been added instead of 22,300 kilograms. Young children biologically have a higher tolerance for sugar than adults. The country with the oldest continuously serving Navy in the world is Portugal. All of the American flags on the moon are now white due to radiation from the sun and absence of atmosphere. Before the 1900s, the Komodo dragon was thought to be a mythical creature. The programming language Python is named after Monty Python. 70% of people who win the lottery spend all of their winnings within 5 years, regardless of the amount that they win. In 2012, a mathematician sent an open letter to Nickelodeon proving that SpongeBob's pineapple was geometrically impossible. Pineapple designer Kenny Pittenger then responded on his blog by posting a new mathematically correct design. This new design is currently being used on the show. Although he was one of the most feared and hated pirates of the Caribbean, Blackbeard was only an active pirate for 2 years. Thomas Edison taught his second wife Morse code so they could communicate in secret when her family was around. The word base in base jumping stands for building, antenna, span, and earth. It refers to the 4 categories of fixed objects from which one can jump. The bottle of Heinz tomato ketchup specifically mentions tomato in the name because when it was first introduced, ketchup of varieties other than tomatoes was common. A third of all divorce filings in 2011 in the United States contained the word Facebook. Strawberries and peaches in Quaker instant oatmeal are actually flavored dehydrated apples. Additionally, the blueberries are actually flavored dried figs. Vincent van Gogh used to put candles in his hat so he could paint at night. A baby elephant sucks its trunk like a baby sucks its thumb for comfort. A full moon always rises at sunset. A new moon always rises at sunrise. Despite being one of the coldest cities in Canada, Winnipeg is the Slurpee capital of the world. The letter E used to designate a failing grade until it was phased out in the 1930s over the fear that students were interpreting it to mean excellent. The cardboard box was inducted into the National Toy Hall of Fame in 2005. It takes 8 bees all their life to make 1 single teaspoon of honey. Bluetooth is named after Harold Bluetooth, who was the king of Denmark over 1,000 years ago. The word scientist did not exist until 1833. Before that, scientists were known as natural philosophers. The blue whale can produce the loudest sound of any animal. At 188 decibels, the noise can be detected over 800 kilometers away. Noah Webster, the founder of Merriam-Webster, learned 26 languages in order to evaluate the etymology of words. In 18th century England, pineapples were such a status symbol that you could rent one for the evening to take to a party. A single human hair can support the weight of an apple. Your brain gets lighter as you get older. In your 20s, it starts to lose up to a gram a year as cells die and are not replaced. The average bolt of lightning contains enough energy to toast 100,000 pieces of bread. Simply taking one step uses over 200 muscles in the body. Over 200 flavors of Kit Kat bars have been sold in Japan. The average lifespan of a Major League Baseball is 7 pitches. On your hands, the thumbnail grows the slowest. The only 15-letter word that can be spelled without repeating a letter is the word uncopyrightable. It takes about 142.18 licks to reach the center of a Tootsie Pop. A goldfish has a memory span of 3 seconds. Babies are most likely to be born on Tuesday. There are more than 10 million bricks in the Empire State Building. There are 1,792 steps in the Eiffel Tower. The average human brain weighs 3 pounds. The human eyeball is 24.5 millimeters long. The first product that Sony came out with was the rice cooker. Oak trees can live over 200 years. Reindeer milk has more fat than cow milk. The state of Florida is bigger than England. The country with the most universities is India. Despite having a hump, a camel's spine is straight. Over 95% of pumpkins sold in the United States are sold for the sole purpose of decoration. Europe is the only continent without a desert. The first product to ever have a barcode was Wrigley's gum. Approximately 25% of Americans have appeared on television. The letter Z is the least frequently used letter in written English. It is more common in American English than in British English due to spelling differences. In Australia, there are nearly twice the number of kangaroos as there are humans. Although Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun, Venus is the warmest planet. The Great Wall of China is over 3,700 miles long. The largest number that has just one syllable is the number 12. The average lifespan of a toucan is 20 years. The first known recipe of angel food cake was published in 1878. The tongue is the only muscle that is attached from one end. A sunset on Mars is blue. Cookie Monster's first name is Sid. More than 100,000 people in the United States get a speeding ticket every day. In 2008, Olympic medalist Michael Phelps stated that he consumed 10,000 calories a day while in training. This is approximately 5 times the normal caloric intake for the average adult male. The age at which most people stop believing in Santa Claus is 8. The Barbie doll has had more than 80 careers. In 1946, Dannon Yogurt was the first company to add fruit to commercially produced yogurt in the United States. A regulation baseball has 108 stitches. In their lifetime, the average driver will honk their horn over 15,000 times. A butterfly has to have a body temperature greater than 86 degrees in order to be able to fly. The lifespan of a rhinoceros is approximately 50 years. In the United States, peanuts account for 66% of all snack nuts. A rabbit is unable to vomit. The first fruit ever consumed on the moon was a peach. The chocolate chip cookie was invented in 1933. Cubic zirconia is over 50% heavier than real diamonds. The smallest bone in the human body is located in the ear. Each honeycomb in honeycomb cereal has 7 holes.